Welcome to the meeting room at Global TV Talk Show, a broadcast service of globalbusinessnews.net.
Now, here's your host, Ed Cohen.
And this is Ed Cohen again in San Diego. And our special guest today is Mr. Ken Somers in New England. And I'm your broadcast host on Global TV Talk Shows. This is a unit of globalbusinessnews.net, broadcasting since '03. Google Analytics says we've had over 1.2 million reader page views. In other words, people looking at the screen. So it's really a responsibility. And today's program launches a series that is geared for corporate, human resource, people, culture managers, and in a post-COVID environment. Here's Ken Somers.
Hi, Ed. Thanks again for having me on the show. I'm really excited to partner with you to launch this series. Perhaps I'll spend just a moment about my background.
Please.
And then, if you agree, I can just, give the viewers a quick overview of what we're seeking to accomplish with this.
That's great.
So just by way of introduction, I spent 42 years in various corporate human resources and line leadership roles, about half of that living overseas in a bunch of different countries in Asia and Europe. And about a year ago, I left the corporate world to form my own little freelance practice. So that's me. And if you're interested to learn more about me, just go to LinkedIn. You can find all the stuff. But by way of introduction to the series, what Ed and I are looking to do is share with you as practitioners some guidance, some insights, some information on how do HR people lead in a post-COVID world. And as Ed alluded to, this is really aimed at the practitioner on the front line, irrespective of your level, irrespective of your title, irrespective of the scope of the services that you provide. But it's really intended to be very practical, sharing real experiences. And we're really excited because we've already lined up a number of guests to join us in this discussion. I'll give you a quick preview of the ones that are already committed. They include, an HR leader from the Netherlands who has some global responsibilities. We've got an organizational effectiveness subject matter experts, quite frankly, one of the best I know on the planet, and I know a lot of these people. And one of the things that he'll bring to the discussion is his genuinely unique perspective on how to develop HR business partners in this kind of environment. I've got a globally experienced compensation expert to talk about some of the implications of compensation decisions in a post-COVID world. One of the more interesting ones, I think, will be, I have a colleague who is a data privacy lawyer. She practices in Europe, based in Germany, and she'll be joining us to talk about some of the startling developments and implications on data privacy as a result of COVID and what companies are going to have to deal with in terms of data privacy issues. I have a faculty member who's also an executive coach who's affiliated with the Columbia University HR MBA program. And we're working on getting additional guests. One is likely to be the CHRO of a large Japanese financial services firm, head of HR from an India company, and the head of HR from a Polish company. So it's truly a global group of practitioners who are looking forward to sharing their insights and experiences with our audience.
So the world has changed because of the pandemic. My primary business for 24 years, from a revenue production point of view and time application, was producing live training conferences with HR and more precisely with human resources involved with the mobility of talent, US and global. And that was live. And we produced conferences across the US and Canada and Latin America and Europe, not Asia though. So that all crashed. The last conference I was able to do was in Washington, D.C. on Embassy Row at the former home of President Woodrow Wilson. And we filled the room. And who knew that would be the last ever, until now anyway. So we've learned how to do TV or Zoom.
Yes.
And what we've learned is that it goes, of course, across time, across space, across borders and cultures and silos. And so the role of the HRBP, HR business partner, in my niche background, which is talent mobility management, is needed more than ever because there's so many stakeholders, particularly in the virtual world, and people itching to get back to do something together in person. So I was doing a little research this morning. I was on the SHRM page of a job description of HRBP. It sounds to me like it's CHRO. What do you think?
Boy, where to begin? It's the role of HR in general, I believe, has really changed in the last 18 months. HR people, regardless of where you are, since sadly, COVID is genuinely a global issue. So the implications for HR people have been global. We've been asked to step up in a way that we have never been asked to step up before. And the role of the business partner as a coach, as a sounding board, as a thought partner to the line leadership that they support is more critical than ever. Because the reality is the world has become much more complex. The world has become much more challenging. And some would argue, I'm not quite there yet, but some would argue that the bargaining table the dynamics of the bargaining table has changed.
Meaning the employee?
Yes,
Yep.
that the employee, as a consequence of the fact that remote works, that hybrid works, we've seen it, you've all seen it every day, of course, to varying degrees. But the fact that it works, I think, has changed the relationship between the employee and the business. And some would say that employees now have much more, for lack of a more elegant term, power in their business relationship. As a consequence, how managers manage, how HR people guide their managers, and how do we make it all work successfully that companies can continue to thrive has changed. So yeah, I would agree with you that the role of the business partner in a more sophisticated environment is approaching that of a de facto CHRO for the business unit or units that they support.
Okay, so the best qualifications for an HRBP in the post-pandemic in a large organization. Doesn't matter what industry or where, but it's a little bit of everything because you really don't have, I was reading this thing. So it says that you don't really have line authority, but you're sort of like a butterfly scooting from here to there and doing some things that nobody else wants to do.
No, in fact, it is a dynamic, complicated, complex, and far-reaching role for someone who does it well. There is no one clear path to being a successful HR business partner. I've written a fair amount about this in my blog, and people are certainly invited to go to that. I'll share the information on that later.
Thank you.
But I will tell you, I think the best path to developing oneself as an HR business partner is to get some functional experience in one of the centers of excellence, one or more of the centers of excellence, spend some time in compensation, spend some time, believe it or not, in benefits or recruiting, But over time, as you learn the business, as you learn the fundamentals of being an HR professional, then graduate to a business partner role where you translate the specific subject matter expert knowledge for your client and grow more broadly. So I would say, people should start in a functional subject matter area and then graduate, if you will, over time to a more generalist business partner role.
So as I mentioned, my background has been I've been in public relations and marketing and advertising since I was 15, but for a very long time, directly connected to the world of talent mobility, managing that. Not me, but the people that I deal with. I just bring people together. But the pandemic has put a knife in that back. And a lot of people are wondering what's coming next. So the issue is that we have found out in the past 18 months is that it's not talent mobility, is the jobs can be done out there, not here. Okay, and this is the linkage. Zoom is the linkage, or something like Zoom. And so it's not employee mobility, it's the function can be done. It's mobile work.
Correct. It's about, and this has far-reaching implications for the business. And again, that HR business partner, that mini CHRO, is at the center of the action if they want to be. This is an opportunity for HR business partners to step up. Whether they do or not, is up to them. But COVID has created the opportunity for HR business partners and others in the field to really take advantage of the window of opportunity here to really increase their impact and influence on the organization.
So it's not an old-fashioned organization chart, right? With the person up top and then all these little things down. These dotted lines or hard lines, who's not talking or what. So now it's sort of like an ellipse or something, where HRBP is really at the center and everything is circling around it. Now this way or that way or that way.
Oh, yeah.
And so how does an HRBP get prepared to handle that? It sounds like it's a 724 job.
It can be. I don't advise it to be. Having been through that kind of a cycle a few times, I can't say that it's something I recommend for any extended period. But yes, it's a full scope, full-time job. And to use an American football metaphor, the HR business partner is the quarterback, and that business partner is responsible typically for coordinating the wide receiver, the running back, and that offensive line to make sure that he or she can get their job done by passing the ball to a subject matter expert or running up the middle to implement a business strategy. Sorry to my friends in other parts of the world for using the American metaphor, but that quarterback is really the one who's calling the plays for the business and delivering the solutions that the business needs to be successful.
So let's talk about European, the worldwide, not soccer, but football.
Yeah.
And when you think of Messi, Paris Saint-Germain, or the other guys, Ronaldo, but they're not an HRBP, but they are certainly a playmaker.
Yes.
And it's sort of like the playmaker. You think of that concept in a global context. Same kind of thing then, isn't it?
Yep. Now, I wish I could comment further on that, but I don't understand soccer well enough to be able to do so. With apologies to the global audience.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a playmaker role. And what's critical is you don't need to be, let's hypothesize. I'm a business partner who is supporting a marketing organization. I don't need to be an expert at marketing, but I do need to understand the business concepts behind marketing well enough that I can speak my client's language and thereby work with my partner to develop solutions that are right to support their business. Be that playmaker for that business.
Hi, this is Ed, and I thank you for tuning in to Global TV Talk Show, a unit on globalbusinessnews.net. We broadcast to the world, as you know by now. So I wanted to make sure that you understand that our programs are advertising supported. We're grateful for co-sponsors, advertisers. They have a marketing budget coupled with a strong desire to be associated with our top quality program. And of course, I'm grateful. Thank you. So for the next few minutes, you're going to see some commercials. It's mostly very low key, and our prices are very, very reasonable. Our exposure for the advertisers go 12 months and beyond. Some of our advertisers have been with us since March, April of 2020. And Google Analytics has tracked over 125,000 what they call audience page views, which means you looking at this page, that's a page view. Now, if you happen to go to one of our other shows or to our radio broadcasts or to our newspaper or magazine, those become additional page views as measured by Google Analytics. And so when they say 125,000 since spring of 2020 up through Labor Day, a month ago, that's pretty good numbers. And the past 30 days, Google Analytics has measured just under 6,000 audience page views. And that, according to them, is a 42% increase in audience participation over the month of August. So thank you very much. Well, here's our advertisers, and we'll be back in just a couple of minutes or so, and we'll proceed with this interesting conversation. Thank you.
This episode from the meeting room of Global TV Talk Show is brought to you by
The Bridge School, the accredited international online private school of choice, at bridgek12.org.
Porch Light Rental and Destination Services. Reduce your renter lump sum or managed relocation costs. Visit them at porchlightrental.com.
And by airs.com. With our full range of services, we can help design and manage your international relocation. Find us at airs.com.
Primestone Partners, featuring corporate, government, and developer housing solutions, as well as senior-level advisory services. Find them at primestonepartners.com.
And by International Auto Source. We are the vehicle experts for expats, featuring all major brands of automobiles with flexible solutions and financing. On the web at intlauto.com.
Become a global player in your field.
Cross Culture to Go provides virtual support for your global business and career success.
We can help you thrive in 140 plus countries and markets.
On the web at crossculturetogo.com.
Something that's really neat is that the Bridge School partners with various organizations to provide learning for their students. For example, we partner with a major ballet company, and we are able to enroll several of their students into our school. So now not only is the student able to participate in a school and have a seamless transition while they're very active in their ballet career, but now they have other dancers that are with them that are doing some of the same courses. So it's almost becoming a camaraderie where they're taking similar courses, they're working together on their ballet, and really being able to form this great partnership with these organizations to provide a needed service. A lot of times there are student athletes who will spend hours and hours at the gym or at the basketball courts, wherever it is. And if they're attending a traditional school, they're in school from 8 to 3. They get a quick snack, and then they're at the gym for 3 to 4 hours in the evening. Coming to us and having that partnership, they're able to break that up throughout the day. They can have a morning practice, get some schooling in, have an afternoon practice, finish their schooling in the evening. So there's that flexibility. And additionally, if there are tournaments or performances, it's fantastic because if there's a week where they have shows straight through, they can take that week off of learning and then pick back up when they're done. So it offers this great flexibility. And for the program owners of these sports leagues, it is a win-win situation for them because they see this need. They see this need that their students need to make sure that they are obtaining the grades necessary to be successful adults in our country and in other countries. But it provides them an environment where they can be successful at both.
Hi, I'm Sergey Gorbatov.
I'm Angela Lane.
Together we're researchers, writers and practitioners in the field of human resources.
And we've also been multi-country, multi-assignment career expats.
We owe our professional development and growth to a very large extent to the international assignment opportunities that we have had.
But in a world where distributed work may become the norm, we also want to understand what will happen to the nature, duration, and purpose of international assignments.
Together with our colleague, Julian Dalzell from the University of South Carolina, we're undertaking a study on the future of expatriation.
And we'd value your contribution. You can participate in this important study by completing a simple 10-minute questionnaire.
Access the questionnaire by typing in your browser tinyurl.com/expert study. That's tinyurl.com/expert study. You can also find the link here on ED's website next to this video.
Thank you for joining us in this study. In return for your contribution, we'll provide you with a copy of our research.
And of course, you'll be invited to an exclusive webinar hosted by ED, where we will share our findings right here on Global Business News.
And so please go to tinyurl.com/expat study. Take the survey so that we can better understand the future of expatriation.
So we want to have ideas from you out there in the audience. Put up your logo and your contact details if you can, make that technology work. If not, we'll just do it later. But you got to reach out. You can reach out to me, but better to talk with Ken or send him a message or text. Ken Somers, you see that, SOMERS. You can find him on LinkedIn easily. Okay, here it is right here.
Right. Yeah, and to follow on to your comment, Ed, we would really love to hear from the audience on what subjects they'd like us to talk about in this series.
And to bring examples. Yeah.
Exactly.
Real time.
Real-time examples, again, not to criticize the outstanding academic work that's done in the human resources space. And maybe we'll get one or two academics to join us at one point, but the focus of this series is really on real world stuff, the stuff that you all have to deal with every day, and bringing in guests who live in the trenches with you and can share their experiences.
So I want to review, if I can, with you what the SHRM HR Business Partner job summary is. Responsible for aligning, and perhaps you comment, responsible for aligning business objectives with employees and management across different units. The position formulates partnerships across the HR function to deliver value-added service to management employees that reflects the business objectives of the organization. Now, today, that means culture, doesn't it?
Culture and 20 other things. Yeah, and for me, I'm sure that I'll stimulate some disagreement on this,
Good.
but at least I hope so. Make for an interesting conversation.
Yeah, let's have a fight.
But for me, culture comes down, books and books and books and consulting practices. I mean, people are making tons of money on culture consulting. I'm going to boil culture down to one question. How do decisions get made in the organization? If you can understand how decisions are made in an organization, you're going to learn about 85 or 90% of what the culture really is.
So does that mean everybody's afraid of the CEO?
It depends on the culture of that company.
Okay, so this says duties and responsibilities. Conducts weekly meetings with respective business units. All right, consults with line management, providing HR guidance when appropriate. Analyzes trends in metric partnerships, blah, blah, blah. Okay, manages, resolves complex employee relations issues, legal requirements, tax, more about legal. Okay, so just as a micro example here in the world of talent mobility management, in normal times, or whatever used to be normal, spouse, partner, kids, who's paying for all this? And what unit? Is it the corporation or the line manager's budget? And then what happens on that once that person is sent on assignment? Let's just say it's somewhere outside the US. Who's in touch? It's not the line manager. They got other jobs. And so that's the perfect new role for an HRBP.
Oh, sure. I mean, having been an expatriate 6 times myself, with and without family, I can tell you that I think one of the biggest risks, and you probably have dealt with this in your experience, Ed, one of the biggest risks of being an expatriate is the reentry process. Because while you were over there, who's paying attention? To your point, who's paying attention?
Well, the spouse partner is.
The spouse partner typically is quite interested in paying attention. But yes, I mean, I do believe that the business partner has a role there, but it's a role, it's not responsibility. And responsibility for managing the career dimensions of an expatriate's experience really does continue, in my view, remain with the line management, with the consultation, the guidance, the support, the advice of their business partner.
I just got a flash message here. 1 second. I think this might be relevant to what we're talking about. Nope. Okay. I had sent out a couple of messages to people who are doing HRBP and inviting them to consider joining this. This ad hoc with no warning, but they haven't responded yet. But I've got others in mind, and once again, out there where you want your ideas, this series will be several times. We're not exactly sure whether it'll be weekly or every 10 or 14 days, but we want to really get it going. We want to build an audience, of course. We want to hear from you, and it'll be highly interactive. So if you want to reach out to me, here's the email: publisher@globalbusiness.media. And that's a fancy Google thing. It actually goes to a Gmail account. But anyway, the words are publisher@globalbusiness.media. All right. And Ken, what's your email?
It's ken@somersHRsolutions.com.
Great. Okay, so we'll see you soon.
Thank you,
out
Ed.
there.
Look forward to this.
Thank you. Bye-bye now. This is
Bye-bye.
Ed in San Diego, and that's Ken. Where are you, in the Hartford area?
I used to be in Hartford area. I'm now in Groton, Connecticut, which is known as the submarine capital of the world.
Well, that's great. That's great. It's right by the water.
Indeed.
New London, right?
Yes. New
Yeah.
London's next door.
So are you a sailor?
No, I'm one of those people who can float and doesn't swim well. But I've learned how to float.
Oh, that's cool. Okay. Thank you for watching.
Thank you for joining us in the meeting room at Global TV Talk Show.
Have a wonderful day, and stay safe.